Y'all ready?
Sure. Yep.
Just going back and watching the tape. Obviously, don't start the game well defensively. Give up a long drive, and it's concerning part for me going in the game was their size on the offensive line, and them able to get movement up front in the run game, but they're able to sustain a drive. I think 16 plays and score a touchdown. We answer offensively, come down a well orchestrated drive, well executed by our players. A 3-play, 75-yard drive. Make it a 7-7 game. They come back with a field goal. We make a nice stop in the red zone. It's a 10-7 game. We miss a field goal. 4th and 16. We could have pooch punted in that situation, but Parker was hitting it well in pregame going into that tunnel. Felt comfortable with that. It was just a little bit short, but we get the interception off the next drive and get another field goal. So it's a 17-10 game, and the turning point of the game was a 3rd and 5 play. I mean, you got to get off the field. We've played that bunch route in man coverage multiple times this year, and made the play on the ball, and we didn't, and they split us for 51 yards. And the next series is a pick 6. So now it's a 21-point game. It's 31-10. We go to half, come out first drive of the second half. We drive down the field and make it a 14-point game. We kick off. We get a hang time of a line drive kick of about 2 seconds. And their guy returns it for a touchdown, makes it now a 21-point game, and just the confidence of your team in the game is shot. So, pick 6, 3 missed field goals, not stopping the run, giving up 5 yards of carry defensively, very poor on 3rd down defensively, which attributed to some other things. We averaged 8 yards of play on offense, had 8 explosives on offense, moved the ball. We got to finish some drives better in those situations, and we can't have a touchdown without our defense on the field. So special teams, obviously, the kickoff coverage. We displaced some lanes a little bit when the ball bounced off of his pads and got bounced out of some lanes. We had some opportunities. We had a free runner at the return and missed a tackle. So very disappointed. And get back to work with our team on Tuesday to improve. And we got an A&M team that's top 10 in the country. We got 5 great opportunities sitting in front of us within the league, and we're looking forward to getting back out on the field and having a better performance than we had Saturday night. I'll open up for any questions.
Will, it's Dave. You mentioned you were concerned about their size up front. Were you satisfied with how the 4-man rush could perform against them? Were you thinking of maybe adding a few more guys in there? Or was that just, you're outsized and then that was the end of the story?
Well, again, I think that when a team's able to run the football at you the way they were, it's hard to ever. We didn't get into many loose down situations. You really even look at our 3rd down situations. We had a 3rd and goal from the 9. And we had a 3rd and 11. Past that, the longest down in distance, I think, was 3rd and 5, maybe a 3rd and 6. So you're dealing with 3 3rd and 1s, a 4th and 1, 3rd and goal from the 1, a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. And we didn't have many loose downs opportunities to really rush the passer much and start as far as the 4-man rush is concerned. We brought 5-man pressure right at 30-something times in the game. In a lot of run-down situations where so you're plugging a linebacker and creating a 5-man pressure with a linebacker or a safety or a corner in I think 2 situations. So we didn't. There wasn't enough passing game is involved with that. And a lot of times we were caught in 4-man rushes and we didn't get enough pressure with 4 guys rushing. But we weren't enough. We didn't get ahead of the sticks down and distance-wise. We struggled on 1st down, which created issues for us on 2nd and 3rd.
Hey, Will, this is Colin. I guess you talked about the run defense a little bit last night. Now that you've been able to watch the film, I guess what were some of the biggest issues there, and kind of how do you go about fixing those?
Well, I think that we got bounced around a little bit size-wise. We got to sometimes when you move a lot, Colin, it's feast or famine. Sometimes it's really good and you move in, and we stunted into some things last night. But when you create some movement, sometimes they're able to, especially with good backs, and they have some good backs. Hit some creases on us in the run game. So be better tied together with our secondary and our linebackers and our run fits. They were running an insert play with the tight end wrapping inside. We hit that a couple times. So those are some things we can tie up, and we maybe look at some different front adjustments to help our guys a little bit.
this
Will Dave again.
Had a chance to finalize your plans for the bye yet in terms of what you'll ask your players to do or not do?
Yeah, we're going to practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They'll be off Friday and Saturday. We've had a discussion with those guys, and we'll have another discussion with them as far as, making good decisions, understanding, that, what's out there right now. Our guys have done a good job for the most part of making really good decisions. So we're going to give them some downtime, which they need, and then we'll get back to practice on Sunday for A&M.
But nothing has been ruled out. Like, they can leave the state. If they're from out of state, they can go home. You haven't told them that there's anything that's off limits?
No, I'm going to meet with the leadership committee on Tuesday, and we'll make some decisions from there. But we haven't gone that far, no.
What has that leadership group said to you about this subject? I mean, they seem to, from what you say, understand kind of the gravity, the fact that one or two guys making a bad decision could, stop shelf things for 2 weeks or something.
Well, that's right, and I think they've done a good job, and from their perspective of, making sure our guys are toting the line as far as the COVID things are concerned, making sure that we don't have any issues and guys stepping out of line, exposing themselves to the unknown. That's been the biggest theme that our guys have done a really good job of policing each other as far as those things are concerned.
Hey, Will, it's Phil Kornblue. Do you or Mike feel the need during this off week to take a closer look at your quarterback situation, reevaluate, take a closer look at your next two guys? What's the feeling coming off this game?
Well, yeah, we're going to give Ryan and Luke a bunch of reps this week along with Colin. And, we feel like Colin gives us our best chance to win right now. But certainly we're going to give Ryan and Luke, and that was the plan before Saturday night anyways, to continue to develop that position. But that's at all positions, Phil. That's not just a quarterback.
Hey, Will, this is Colin again. I guess you kind of talked about Parker and miss-hitting a few last night. Just take me through kind of how you make those decisions on when he goes out there. And I think you guys kicked twice down 21. Just take me through the decision to kick during those situations.
Well, in pregame, he had felt good from about 55 in going into that end zone. And so you're at 4th and 16. You could pooch punt. I asked Parker, before the game where he felt good from. We said 35-yard line. He said possibly 37, 38. So in that situation, I've got tremendous confidence and still have tremendous confidence in him. Before half, it's 4th and 4. It's a 31-10 game. 128, I thought it was important to get points on the board. I thought we had left some out there. I felt like we needed to have some points before half to create some momentum before half. I believe it was 38-17 with about 9 minutes to go third quarter. It's 4th and 16. If it's a more manageable down and distance, we would probably have gone for it. No different than the Tennessee game. It's 4th and 12. You take the points in those situations. Obviously, we didn't get them in this situation. But you, with the 4th and 16 down and distance, you take the points at that time.
Will, this is Josh. Have you considered any changes in terms of special teams coaching duties and trying to shake anything up there just to get some more production or something different?
No, I think we've punted the ball better. I think we only punted one time the other night. Kyle punted it well, and he's continued to improve throughout the year. We didn't kick a lot of our coverage issues in two long returns have gone back to the kick. Ball position and looking at possibly kicking off with Parker moving forward. But we give those guys an opportunity this week. I don't like to do that just from the standpoint of the wear and tear on his leg through a season. But we cannot continue to not have the right kind of kickoff in place for us to be successful. So, but no, we need to continue to coach our guys and develop our guys, and that's what we're going to do.
Hey, Will, it's Hale. Going back to Colin Hill, if you could just share just some general thoughts about how he's performed over these 5 games and just how you guys feel he's done just overall.
Well, I mean, again, I think Colin would tell you he needs to play better than he did last night. But again, he did create some explosive plays down the field. He directs our offense extremely well. He gets us in and out of the run game. A lot of the run game that we have are run checks that he's making at the line of scrimmage, which are the correct checks. So, again, in 5 games, we're not where we want to be as far as our record is concerned, or where we need to be offensively. But he has done a nice job of playing in some situational football, playing in the red zone. Unfortunately, probably forced the ball the other night, but Jalen Brooks has got to finish the route. Give himself an opportunity to knock the ball off the guy. You don't finish the route, the guy steps in front. He should have worked the other side of the field, but those are killers, especially on the road.
Hey, Will, this is Ben. You mentioned wanting to rewatch some of those sacks. What did you kind of see going wrong on those plays once you got the film?
On the first sack, we gave up some pressure from the tackle position, but it was a screen, and they ran an in-tackle game, which jammed our back up, and our back couldn't get out. So I thought Colin made a good decision in just eating the ball and taking the sack, not trying to make a play to the back in that situation. There was too much traffic involved, and it could have been a catastrophe there. We had 2 coverage situations where they had the right coverage for what we were in. Again, those 2 corners are really good players, but they had the right coverage. It was a coverage sack. We had good protection. And then probably 2 times Collins got to get rid of the football. Probably gave him too much as far as the progression read is concerned, what Mike felt like. But we got to get rid of the football in 2 situations.
Will, Dave, again, you mentioned that the run defense has been kind of a 3-week problem. What can you guys do to address that over these next 2 weeks? Is it a major change in scheme, or just maybe 1 or 2 guys out of place on a particular play?
No, I think that against Vanderbilt, I just felt like we played high. We didn't have a very good pad level. We're giving up too many offensive wins up front. We're not disengaging and getting off and making single tackles as a defensive line. I think Kier's been probably the guy that has been most effective as far as disengaging and getting off blocks and making plays. They're going to block you. Hell, you got to get off a block and make a play. I kind of saw a little bit of that at Auburn, but I felt like it was a little bit more assignment-oriented. You look at late in the game, on their second to last drive, and then when Tank hit the run on their sideline, we have a corner pressure called, exactly what we want called in the situation. The corner runs up the field, creates a run seam, and they hit us for 30 yards. But those were more assignment. There was only about 2 or 3 things that hit for some big plays. And then last night, again, I feel like we just got to, assignment-wise, clean some things up, and we got to get off some blocks. You got to be able to disengage and separate and get off blocks in order to make tackles.
Hey, Will, this is Colin.
Hey, Will, it's John Del Bianco. You had you won the coin flip last night and deferred to the second half, and then you gave LSU obviously got the ball to start the game. What went into that decision? And because it seemed like they were really able to establish their run game, and T.J. Finley was able to settle in there.
Well, the idea was to put the freshman out there first, which obviously turned out to be a very good idea. But we've made very good adjustments offensively in the second half in our first 5 ball games. And we've been very successful coming out in the second half with our adjustments, which we did again. So that was that, number 1. Number 2, we felt like the wind moving to our tunnel in the fourth quarter had a chance to be from 12 to 14 miles an hour, and we wanted the wind in the fourth quarter. So that was the major reason why we did it.
Thanks.
Hey, well, this is Colin. I guess, how frustrating is it, or how do you evaluate the offensive performance when you guys are able to, I think you average close to 8 yards per play, but not be able to put up points? How frustrating is that, and kind of how do you evaluate a performance like that?
Well, Mike said it best. You got to finish drives, and we didn't finish drives. We missed 3 opportunities in the field goal, turned over the ball on downs in a situation there on the 9th drive of the game, and we got to finish some drives. And we had, you look at when Israel had the interception, we returned the ball down. We've got to cash in on that, which we did a week ago against Auburn and have a total different result. So you've got to finish drives, and that was a couple of things we looked at, just play call-wise, and some things we could have done better. to put our guys in better situations, considering on what they were doing.
Will, this is John Whittle. A couple of questions for you. On the defensive line, from a personnel standpoint, it seemed like MJ Webb has gotten a few more snaps than usual. What have you seen out of him that has gotten him some more snaps? And also, what's the status of Rick Sandage? I haven't noticed him quite as much.
Yeah, Rick played 6 snaps in the game, and just got to continue to work on his conditioning, continue to work on the consistency of his play and consistency of his effort. And that's one thing that I would credit MJ. MJ plays hard. He plays hard. He's a guy that runs the ball. You know exactly what you're going to get from him when he steps on the field, and a guy that's been very good assignment wise in what we're asking him to do. But he's been very consistent with his effort. He has earned his opportunity to play.
Also, with regard to Jalen Brooks, how much was he able to kind of factor into the game plan? I know there were a couple of shots his way that just didn't connect. How would you assess his first game?
Well, we did. We had the over route that we got a little pressure in the middle there, but missed that, and then we had a PI down the field. We had another, I think it was 2 double moves set up that didn't get the ball to his direction. But just disappointed with the interception. He's got to finish the route there. If he finishes the route, we're able to knock the ball off the guy. We're playing another down. But Jalen's going to be a good player for us. He's very bright. He can learn multiple spots. He plays hard, and looking forward to him contributing to our football team this year.
Will, you mentioned that Coach Bobo made some comments to you about what he felt like some of the issues were as far as just scoring the ball. Is there any chance we may be able to speak with him during the bye week?
No.
Hey, Will, it's Phil Kornblut again. For those of us not smart enough to be able to figure it out, just when you look back at the LSU game with a freshman quarterback who'd never taken a snap in college, to think he might have been throw the kitchen sink at this guy defensively to make him uneasy back there. And you mentioned the 5-man rush. In retrospect, do you think maybe you should have done a few more crazy things on defense to catch the young quarterback off guard, perhaps? Is that something that could have made a difference?
Yeah, I think if we had gotten them in down and distances that we felt like that we could have done some of those things. But they were running the ball so well, it had nothing to do with what he was doing. And that was the pointing thing, because they were presenting a 6-man box, and we had a 7-man run box most of the time. So we always had an extra hat in the box. And a lot of those situations were 5-man pressures. So at the end of the day, you can overload pressures all you want, and if they're running the ball, you're going to have a hard time stopping the run. So we felt like the best thing we needed to do was try and move our defensive line. We were a little bit smaller than they were, to be able to create some different gap change-ups and go try and fit the runs. And at times we did it well, and unfortunately at times we didn't. But I would have loved to gotten in some more advantageous down and distances to do some exotic things, but we didn't. We faced, I don't know what I tell y'all, I think it was 4 3rd-and-1s, a 3rd and 3, a 3rd and goal from the 9, a 3rd and 11, which we pressured on. We got a pass interference, a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 6, and a 3rd and 4. That's not necessarily an exotic down, pressure down for us in my defensive philosophy. Been coaching over 20 years. Y'all good?
Yeah. Believe so. Thanks, Will.
The chairperson has